Dear younger self, huh? That's how you want me to start?
Which part? The beginning?
No, read this first and then skip to that.
Dear younger self,
Dear younger self,
Dear younger self,
make sure you are paid what you're worth.
Save for retirement as much as possible.
Don't cash out all your 401k at once.
Okay, so I came across this video a few months ago and I found it quite interesting because it was these older people basically giving advice to the younger people. Well, in this case, they were talking about the advice they would give themselves, but I found it quite interesting because as a young person, I really could use this advice because life moves so fast and sometimes, before you know it, you're going to be in the same boat. You're going to be like them. It's going to be you giving advice to the younger people. So as we watch this video, please consider liking and subscribing, and let's continue with the video.
I only have about 3 months worth of bill payments in my savings account.
We make very little on Social Security.
I still have to work to pay my bills.
I'm worried that my investments won't last me.
I don't have any retirement funds put away at all.
Man, that is quite something. He's at 77 years old and he has no retirement savings left. So I guess he will have to work again, or maybe if he has he has kids, they might help him out. I mean, that's different though in America, because in America I see the kids don't really care much for the parents. They send them to the retirement homes or things like that. But for other parts of the world, especially in the third world, the parents, they use the kids as their retirement plan. So they're gonna move in with you and they're gonna stay with you, and you're gonna have to be taking care of them. They're your responsibility. But let's continue the video and see how the 77-year-old surviving without retirement.
Okay. Are you ready now?
Dear younger self,
Open up a Roth IRA and learn how to invest.
Don't pile up debt.
I would tell myself to hold on to my investment portfolio.
Save more and give less.
Your home is one of your biggest assets. Protect it.
After I retired, I cashed out my entire 401k, deposited $110,000 for a down payment on the house. I also paid a 45% income tax bill by taking all the money at once.
Wow, that's 45% tax. I worked in retirement industry for a while, so I know how they tax you so much in 401k if you just do those full withdrawals, especially if you're not at the age of retirement. But it's retiring in America is not an option for me. Let me just be honest. If once I get to retirement age, God willing, I will move out. That's my American dream. Moving out someday. I'm gonna retire in some other country. I don't know, in Mexico or somewhere else, because I cannot imagine with the cost of living in America retiring here. It's a wrap. It's gonna be a wrap for me if I was to retire in America. But let's continue. It's not about me.
I opened a Roth IRA when I was 54 finally, and I put $6,000 in it and let it sit there because I didn't know that you were supposed to invest it.
I think if I were to just leave my money alone, not move it around, then it would be worth a lot more today.
A financial advisor explained to me that I had to invest it, and I did, and now it's over $41,000.
I would definitely advise younger people to put a maximum amount in their 401k or IRA match, because that money grows over time.
Just imagine if I had knew how to do that, and when I was 25 instead of 55, it would be quite a bit more.
it's way, way better if you plan something way ahead of time than wait till the end like we have.
Up we go. There you go. There you go. There you go. This is where he likes to sit. We didn't realize that Social Security would be so little.
Most of my debt has accumulated with things beyond my control. It's not like we go to Vegas and have a great time and run our credit card up, but we've always needed them as well when we fell on hard times.
I missed one payment on the credit card, and it just ballooned. Within 6 months, it completely doubled.
The Federal Housing Administration gave us a loan. The interest rate back then was 13 3/4, and it just grew so fast. Eventually, our loan was so big we couldn't manage it, and we ended up moving off of the farm.
Man, that's quite sad. Like, you see, the other couple, I believe, was saying that they didn't know Social Security checks are that little. Now, they at least got Social Security. For us, our generation, I don't think we're gonna be getting Social Security checks, because it's being gutted right now by, Elon Musk and the others. They don't want Social Security. They call it entitlement, even though you've paid for it. Every paycheck, they remove Social Security, but they believe that it's not your right to get your money back. So by the time we retire, I don't think there will be Social Security, to be honest. But if you're planning on depending on Social Security in America living, it's not going to be enough. You're going to have to move somewhere else if you want to live on Social Security. But let's continue.
Now we've had to go into thousands of dollars of credit card debt to pay our bills. We don't have a savings account anymore, and our credit scores are tank.
Yeah.
Okay.
Will it go off if I put it on airplane mode? Will it ding ding? I've learned that in matters of finance, you have to make decisions without being overly emotional.
I don't even drive by my old farm. It's really a very negative part of my life when I see what we could have had.
I have always offered financial help to friends to help them get through a difficult time, not realizing I was less fortunate too.
When you get to our
Oh, that's a great point, because many people, you just help out. You just help out your family. You help them out with this and that. When you yourself, you're in no good position. By the time you're older, you realize you're by yourself. You did not save for yourself. You did not do this because you are helping everybody else. So I've seen it many times, especially with immigrants who live abroad. They send all this money to their families back home, and then their families, they continue growing. Their families are, working. They're building their properties. The immigrants, by the time they reach retirement or whatever, they have nothing. So I guess it applies even in this case. But let's continue.
our age, it's a little late in the game to try to fix it, because the damage is already done. So if you're young and you're working, don't be afraid to put back an extra $20 a week or whatever, and don't touch it.
I'm currently an over-the-road trucker. My current financial situation is probably the reason I keep trucking at my age.
Okay, so that's the 77-year-old. I was wondering, is he still working or what is he doing? So he's driving a truck at 77 years old. I'm not sure how safe that is. I know, but I've seen many times, the older you get, you get issues with your sight and things like that. So it's quite taxing on the body also. So, man, it's sad, man. It's sad. At 77, you're driving trucks. Those are your sunset years. You should be relaxing, man. But that's America for you.
I haven't seen too many 80-year-olds out there.
It's okay to care about people. However, you have to look at what it is costing you mentally and financially. You only have so many years to prepare for retirement.
Dear younger self,
Prioritize your health to avoid financial and physical hardships.
Be prepared for unexpected expenses.
Things change, circumstances change.
I didn't plan on pancreatic cancer at the age of 62. But even with good insurance, chemo, surgery, radiation, and a second round of treatment when the cancer came back caused me to meet my annual $2,500 out-of-pocket maximum for the past 3 years.
My wife had her heart issue. Her income changed immediately.
My jobs were physically taxing, and I feel that contributed to some of the medical conditions. On a scale of 1 to 10, my health is probably a 6.
She was making over $50,000 a year plus benefits, and suddenly she couldn't work.
My savings have been spent on medical bills. I only have enough left to cover my bills for a few months. I can no longer work, so I survive on disability benefits. I can't afford any financial missteps.
I don't know if I can retire anytime soon. It depends on if my health holds up. Dear younger self,
Don't retire early.
Man, that part of the health, that's really, it's quite difficult because I can only imagine, especially healthcare costs in America also, it's gonna be very, very hard for them because most of them are already in credit card debt. You're still working, and at that age you have a lot of health issues, so you have to keep going to the doctor also. Man, it's wow. It's very sad seeing stories like this. It really scares you. Like, remember, scared straight, it scares you straight to start saving for retirement and things like that.
Continue working as long as you can.
I just wish I could have worked longer. It really would have helped us.
I lost my job. I was sort of forced into retirement.
When I was 58, I had more than $500,000 saved for retirement. I turned in my retirement paperwork. What a mistake that was.
You sit around and get bored, and retirement's boring. It really is.
I have no desire just to lay on the couch and eat brownies every day. And I just think I have to stay active and do something.
All of a sudden, I had no important decisions to make and no social network anymore.
I went from hoping I live a really long time to being worried that I will outlive my savings. It's not a great way to feel.
I tried to return to part-time work recently. No one's hiring, or if they are, they're not looking for people my age.
It's challenging to get a job when you're in your 60s.
I don't know if it's my age, but I rarely ever hear back from anybody.
I tried my best to look as young as possible.
I don't feel very marketable at this point.
Honestly, I think they really don't want an old guy who's going to have to take a day off to go to the doctor.
I had a college degree and great office skills, but employers wanted a cute 20-something at the front desk.
I mean,
Man, I made another video. I think I'm gonna link it at the end of this, about how older people are being forced to retire early, and those who are outside of the workforce, they try to apply jobs, they are not hired. And it starts not just older people, it starts from the age of 35 up to 40 years old, 40 and above. You start getting age discrimination, which is what they're talking about here. But that's just the reality of life. Well, the older you become, the more invisible you become.
for the most part, even as sick as I am, I could probably outwork anybody in this neighborhood.
In February 2023, I finally started a full-time job with the state agency employer who was willing to give me a chance. I was 63.
I got my first freelance writing gig last week, so there's a new chapter to write, just when I thought it was time for the epilogue.
I'm also doing polymer clay sculptures. When I get stressed out, that's what I do. If I sell it, I feel even better.
You're good at it.
I'm good. Well, thank you. I'm good at it, I guess.
I'm working on becoming a content creator. I want to give opinions on various things in society, also traveling, camping, that kind of thing.
I am happy right now because I have a great job. People say they have to go to work. I say I get to go to work.
Don't retire.
Don't retire. Work as long as you can.
No, I would do
really.
it in a New York minute, man. I'd
Yeah.
go back to work and love every minute of it.
I think that's the I know it's going to sound like I'm bashing America so much, but I'm not really. I'm just stating the obvious. That's the American belief system. Just work, nonstop. So in this case, work as long as you can, which most of the case you're going to work until you're on the grave, because you work long until you don't retire, and then you're going to retire 1-2 years. That's it. It's a wrap for you. But it should not be like this. You should have a work-life balance also. So I think that's just the American mentality of, just keep working. You work yourself to your grave.
So you say, dear younger self, pursue a career you're passionate about.
Dear younger self, don't wait to embrace change.
Dear younger self, pursue a career that you're passionate about.
Find a passion, even if it's just a hobby.
When I was younger, I also knew deep down that my teaching career didn't suit me.
I was a self-taught musician. In my early career, I was playing clubs, bringing home $150 to $200 a week, and that was back in the early to mid-'70s.
I started playing guitar when I was about 11 years old.
Instead of jumping ship then, I dug in and pursued a higher degree in the same field, thinking the promotion would make up for the lack of personal satisfaction.
I moved away from music and got into jobs that offered a regular paycheck.
When I became a librarian, I did take a pay cut from my teaching career, but it was well worth it to me because I loved going to work so much every day.
My biggest regret is not having followed through with my music. I still love it. I just can't do it as well as I used to, but I still love it. That part will never die.
When you're playing and singing, and it just makes you feel good in general. And my wife likes to hear me sing, and I guess that's the reason I do it. Walk through this world with me.
The one thing I think both Steve and I did right was we made sure that we took care of our parents.
One thing I know I did right was staying connected with people.
My financial choices allowed me to raise and support my children while teaching them to be independent and socially responsible.
Unexpected changes make living in the moment a good skill to have, and I'm always ready to shift gears when needed.
I live on my farmland. I am fortunate to own the land and live mortgage-free.
I take it one day at a time. I'm thankful I made it through the day and get up the next day and do it again.
My greatest accomplishment is having 3 beautiful daughters who are educated, caring, and productive members of society. That is worth more than all the money in the world.
Most
I mean, at the end of the day, really, you see, for most of them, it comes down to relationships, their children, the relationships they had. That's what I think life comes down to. It's not really about the money and everything. It's good to have the money, but for most older people I've talked to, it always comes down to their children or relationships they had. And yeah.
we just want to get somewhere where at least there's community, where people seem to care for each other.
I can't waste time looking back at what might have been. My choices, good or bad, are my responsibility.
Somewhere along the way, I learned to approach life with curiosity instead of despair, and that's when everything became adventure instead of trepidation. That's when life got really good. I hope you start earlier than I did. But first, open up that Roth IRA. Love, your much older self, Nancy Seeger.
Okay, I'm gonna stop the video there. I just really feel bad for the 77-year-old still driving trucks, still working. I hope his condition improves, that he can at least enjoy some years of retirement, before sunset, because sunset is coming for all of us. So I would not like it, in my case, to be working until the end of time. But if you like this video, please consider liking and subscribing. And of course, share this on all the networks. See ya.
Oh my goodness, all the networks! Wow! All the networks!